Here's my method in a nutshell. So I use these little tick marks to indicate the height of the object and the width and a little bit of the shape here. And you can see these tick marks are pretty light and they're short, and it's hard to exactly see it, but it helps me to visualize it so that I can move on to this stage where I'm actually focusing on the contour or outer edge of the object that I'm drawing. So it really helps me to puzzle it together if I do those tick marks first. And just so you know, I'm using Vine charcoal. Vine charcoal looks dark, but it actually wipes off very easily. So if you're using pencil, go much lighter than you see in the picture here. Now you're seeing the finished sketch with the background filled in. You can see from the introduction that these sketches are rough. They're not meant to be something that is perfect. They're kind of like a study. So quick, rough, smaller sketches. So here's those tick marks taking place. I'm trying to get the height of the flowers and the width of the flowers, and I'm looking at them as though they were one mass. You can kind of see they're almost diamond shape if you look at the 4 or 5 of those flowers clustered together. And then I'm getting the width of the cylinder and the height of the cylinder, as well as that little coaster that it's sitting on, with just little tick marks. And I love tick marks because they're cheap, which means that if I need to move them, it's not like the end of the world. I'm not going to go crying if I need to move a tick mark. It's not like I spent a lot of time on it. And it gives me something to look at, like almost an anchor point when I'm doing my sketch. So here I'm drawing the outer shape of the flower and the outer shape of that cylinder. So that cup acts as like a cylinder or almost like a cone in a way. So it's a hybrid of a cone and a cylinder when I look at that. So you can see I'm not working on the inside at first, that I focus mostly on the outer contour, and now I'm going into the inside. And when I'm looking at the shapes as forms, really. I'm looking at that cup, like I said, as a cylinder. I'm looking at the roses as though they were semi-spheres, so like a ball that's cut in half. You can see that I'm doing that to the right there, making it look like a ball cut directly in half there. And I'm working quickly when I do this. I'm not trying to make something beautiful yet. When you're doing a drawing, no matter what you're doing, if you're doing a painting or whatever, you always start out kind of generalizing, and you slowly bring it back to the specific. So you're not doing any details here. You're just getting a generalization of the shape and the form. And you can see what I did just there was put in a horizon line. So a horizon line denotes, in this case, where the tabletop would be. And I've moved it down, actually. I've done that on purpose because of one word, composition. We'll be talking about that later, either this week or next week, but we'll be talking about composition. If you do put a horizon line or a line indicating the tabletop, you always want to go either the bottom third of your paper or the top third. You don't want to ever put it directly in the middle. And there's a reason for that. It's because it'll be boring if you put it in the middle. So basically, that's it to drawing number 1. And of course, you're going to have different objects to work from, but you're working with whatever objects are in your box. You're using them as a group. And you're kind of creating your own setup here and breaking them down into simple shapes and forms. And I am going to be coming around the room. I'm going to peruse the room and see what you're doing. And I will ask you guys questions. Like I'll ask you to identify, hey, what shape would you call that? And I'll point to the apple. And I want you to come up with a shape or a form that fits that. So anyway, there's the tick marks where I'm drawing in little marks to indicate. Once I have the marks, then I start getting a little bit more information. And you don't want to forget about negative space when you do this. So as I was drawing the apple to the measuring cup, I was looking at the space in between or next to the apple and the bottom of the measuring cup. I was also looking at the space in between the handle of the measuring cup and the side of the cup itself. So don't forget about negative space. You still need that. It's incredibly important that you start looking more for negative space. I did that too with the knife. I looked at the negative space made in between the knife blade, the cone, which is to the left, which is really a funnel, and the measuring cup there to the right. I looked at that and saw that as a shape. The last step, of course, is filling in the background. So whatever is above that horizon line is what you fill in. Each table has its own box of objects. Now you are going to be trading your box with another table, so that's how you get those different setups. But you're doing 6 of them in those rectangles, those 6 rectangles that you made. And again, vertical, horizontal. You could even do a square frame if you want, however you want to see fit to do it. But again, 6 different ones. Try having some objects clustered together. Try having a couple of objects overlap. It'll make it more interesting. And fill in the background on these. Now I will be walking around the classroom and I will ask you to identify some of those objects in terms of their basic shape or form. So expect that.